Hello everyone, this is Erica with Save On Designs, and today we are making butterflies. This is a wall art, so it's pretty big. This is the bigger size of the two that I have, and the other one is actually still clipped up drawing, so I'll try to grab that at the end. This is all wood. This is one of the my wood grain items, so all those pieces are turned to show off that gorgeous wood grain. This one I did these bottom wings over here are cherry. Then I've got some mahogany, and then kind of another piece of cherry to tie into the bottom, and then I've got sapele up here at the top with walnut in the middle. I did make a mistake on this. If you all can see, I'll lift it up. Always dry fit your pieces, and when you do that, look at them. I did not look very good. I've got a really bad little burn mark there that I didn't even see till after I had glued it, and there's not much I could do about it then. So we are going to live with it and love it anyway. So it's not too terrible. I'll be able to sand some of that off. The other wing kind of got that same little bit as well. Probably just a settings thing on my part, or I didn't measure twice, which I usually do. So don't be like me. In the meantime though, the reason I really wanted to do this tutorial was because I had a couple antenna, I almost call them antlers, antenna options. So the first one, let me grab one of these. So this is the same butterfly. This one is in all different pieces of hickory and walnut in the middle. So I just, with this, my goal with the wood was really to find those interesting pieces. A lot of times you're not going to get a lot of variation in sapele. You're going to get that really cool grain, maybe a little different grains. Same with mahogany. Cherry is pretty consistent as well. Sometimes you get some lighter tones in there. But hickory you can get all over the place. Dark tones, light tones, stripy tones. So I really tried to pull from a couple different pieces, and even within the same piece, getting some of those different tones. So I am excited to see how this, after it's sanded and sprayed, how it's going to look. I think it'll be, I love walnut and hickory together, so I'm excited for this one. I'm excited for this one too. I like all those warm colors together as well. But what I was going to show you, this one has some antenna already put on there. I did have these as separate pieces as I was gluing them. I will go in and kind of put these two together so it'll cut all out of one piece. I'll leave this one too. If you wanted to do them in two different woods, you could. But I think having one piece for some folks might be a little easier. I would have liked to have one piece instead of trying to be sure that this is getting on just completely straight and not slipping. Took a little more time. It wasn't awful, but I thought, oh, that would be so much easier in one piece. So I will do that before I release the file. But I wanted also to do something fun because these really, they're not super thick. I couldn't make them too much thicker without not making it look quite right. So these could definitely break off easier. If it's a wall hanging, it's not probably as big of a deal. I've got some ornaments I'm working on too. This one is all one piece and it kind of goes into, it'll lay inside one of those wing pieces. So I'm not too worried about that one being too thin. This one though is pretty thin. It's still all in one piece, but it is pretty thin and could definitely be broken off, but it's kind of up against the side. So I'm still not 100% on that one. But I wanted to give another option, and I thought that would be really kind of cool if you could stick something in there. What would I stick in there? So I was thinking through, of course, my brain went to maybe something jewelry-wise. I went up into my jewelry stash from when I used to do some earrings and stuff. And I thought, well, maybe a stick pin, and I could glue a bead onto it. So that's an option as well. This is a stick pin. I'm not sure if you can see that really well. It's got like just a pin top on it, but it's not sharp. And this would be, you'd put jewelry on it to make earrings that dangle, put beads and stuff on it. So I thought, well, if I could use one of these, because they're bendable, and put a bead on the top. So that's where I was kind of heading. And then in my little drawer of stick pins, I found these that I didn't even remember. So these guys are little stick pins with a decorative piece on top. So imagine these at the bottom of an earring with some beads on it, or a little necklace or something. So I was like, oh, those would be perfect. Now, how am I going to get them so we can stick them in the top of this butterfly? So what I've done for you guys is in the file, there's little round testers, and I think they're actually a little smaller than this. This was my first test that basically has the, and let me grab the one we're going to build. We're going to build this guy. He is all different sorts of cedar, so it's kind of that same ideas. I tried to cut from some different places on some different pieces of cedar that had some different tones and stripes and things like that. So I've done my dry fit so I can, and I've looked at all of them, they all look okay. I'm going to slide those off and then show you this horrible looking burn spot. So that's my engrave, and that's where my stick pins are going to go. But I wanted to give you a tester so you could figure out what that engrave needs to be for the material that you're using. So this was the first one I did, and I'm going to use this bigger one. So this is the same one that I used on that other butterfly. Actually, I think I'm going to use this one. It's like a little copper, and it's got a tiny little triangle thing on the top. I did find, I know I found these on Amazon with a quick look, so I'm going to link those for you guys if you like these. You could probably go look at your local store too. See what they have in the jewelry section of Hobby Lobby, or, oh, we don't have Michael's anymore, do we? At least we don't here. So I came in here, I can still feel that. And that's kind of my test is, can I feel the piece over there? Because if I've pushed this down in my little spot here and I can still feel it, that wood's not going to sit flush. So I increased, I think I doubled it up what I normally do and turned the power up another 10. So this one, I can set that in there. And I did make it angled versus just straight to stick in, because I sort of felt like maybe that would give it a little more stability. I did try to pull, I didn't pull really hard. I'm sure if I pulled hard enough, I could get those other ones out. So maybe even super glue in this part just to hold those in wouldn't be a bad idea. And I may pull that out when we build this one and just do that first before I use my regular glue. But I can get that down in there. I can run my finger across the top and not feel the metal. So I know that's going to stay down when I put my other piece over the top, and it's not going to create any problems, and that top piece is going to fit flush. So these are part of the file. Then you just use, and like I said, I think I made it even smaller, so you just use a little piece to test before you do your big cut, so that you know what engraving you do here is going to work. So I'm going to use these little copper because I thought that kind of went nicely with the cedar. And I think I am going to grab a little bit of super glue here. And in this process, I'm going to maybe, so these sit flush here. I'm going to set these down so when I put that super glue in there, they're not popping out. Maybe. This one's kind of, we're going to bend him up. So yeah, once these are dried, I let mine dry overnight before I messed with them. Then you could kind of bend them a little bit the way you want them to go. And actually, I think that's, I have some 1/16 sitting right here. I do not. Okay, we're gonna make this work. So this is Starbond thick. I thought I had medium, but okay, this is thick. So this is CA glue. It's basically just super glue. This one's thicker, Works well. They do sell this through Smoky Hill. You can get it on Amazon. Other places I know it's been tested with the Eco Woods and things like that. And works really well. So I'm going to put a little bit of that there. And I don't want that to dry super high because I want it to still be flush. Yeah, that guy's being a little stinky there. There we go. So that's at least getting those in there. And then I'm just going to start gluing my pieces. Like all my other wood grain products, I'm using Titebond Quick and Thick Multi-Surface Glue. Works really well for this. A wood glue would probably be okay. And if you haven't done one of my wood grain projects, this glue allows it to slide around a little. It doesn't dry right away, but when it does, it's a good hold, and it gives just a little time, whoops, to kind of wiggle stuff around and get it in the exact place you want it. So I am going to do the body and one side of these wings. I feel like this is going to be messy. As usual, I didn't yet, but I always have my scrap piece of wood that I put a little extra glue on in case I need it, and my little stash of toothpicks in case I need it, which I think I do right now because I got way too much glue on there. And I may put a little on the back of, see, this guy is our piece. I'm just going to put a little bit of that there. And that is fitting flush and perfect. And we're really going to make sure he's in place because there's probably going to be some super glue there. We might not have as much wiggle room. Sorry, was my head in that shot? And I'm just using those score lines to line him up. And let's go ahead and get all the pieces on over here on this side. Initially, we're just kind of sticking them on here, wiggle them around a little bit, get that glue spread. We don't want that glue coming up in between. So trying to get, I think my bottle of glue is getting to towards the end, so I feel like I get all or nothing. Truly, I'm not getting enough, and then I squeeze too hard probably and get too much. Gluing is not my favorite part of the process, but it is so satisfying because it's when everything starts coming together. All right, so for a guy this big, we really want to look at these pieces and make sure they're lined up. If something's not fitting right, that probably means something's out of whack somewhere else. These should fit pretty tight together. I don't add a kerf to my files. If you would like to do that and you know your laser and your kerf and how your laser works, then by all means, you go right ahead and do that. I am actually kind of excited to maybe do this file in some fun acrylics. I think that would be really pretty with the butterfly as well. So for this guy, I can see that line of the backer over there. So I know he's not quite lined up where I want him. So I'm using my side pieces, other pieces here in the middle, because we want this line to be pretty consistent. And I think I put that bottom piece on upside down. Oops. I've got glue on my arm, that's now on my dress, lovely. Okay. So that one side I feel pretty good about. So let's go on to the other side. One thing that will happen with these larger pieces, when you get this, I just ran glue all over the side there. When you get these really long pieces, as they sit and absorb that glue, is when you might see a little warping. And maybe you see it with the smaller ornaments sometimes. I don't know if humidity affects that. I live in a very high and dry climate, so everything is pretty dry for me. I don't get a ton of warping, especially on the Smoky Hill products. Some other types I've gotten some plywood from, I've definitely had more warping issues. So I assume climate would affect that. So I don't know how often you guys have to clamp everything down, but I do find I have to do that quite often with these bigger pieces. And actually, let me get this on and then I'll show you. I've got some that I just glued a little bit ago that I've got clamped down, and I'll kind of show you some of my tricks around that when you've got all these little pieces. Look at all those fun stripes in the cedar. I cannot wait to get this one sprayed down. That truly is my favorite part of the process, is when I spray these down and all that wood just comes to life. All right, he went together really nicely. Not a lot of adjustment. This long piece is the one you're probably you have to adjust. It's gonna slide off really easy because it's on the end. You can see already, those are pretty well in there. I'm not gonna pull on them, but I'm not worried about them shaking out, which again is why I did that little curve so they couldn't just fall out. They'd have to have some force put on them. All right, so I don't see, everything looks pretty flat here. So this is the smaller butterfly, but on these bigger butterflies, I will grab this guy because I did clamp him down all over. So he was having some of those ends that weren't really sitting flush. So you clamp that side down. Woo! Oh, that was fun. Clamp this side down, and then this part on the end pops up. So maybe you guys have tools or clamps, and I'd love to see that. If you have a special tool that would work well for this. I just have these that I got off of Amazon as well. Super easy. I have some bigger ones too. I think I have 3 sizes of clamps. So I've got these little ones. These bigger ones give a little more force. But laying a piece of scrap wood, so these are some miscuts that I had from doing the cross and maybe even the lily shelf sitters. And so these are long, these are kind of nice. I had this one up higher to start with, and I could see those antennas and make sure they didn't slide over. So I kind of liked having that little window. But these are just scrap wood that I have that's long, so I can set that down, put pressure over here, and it's not going to be as high of pressure as it would be if you had a clamp directly on that, but some of these spots you're not going to be able to get to unless, like I said, you have a special tool, which we would all love to see. So by doing that, it's kind of putting pressure on multiple places, and that helps keep these all down. So this has been sitting here for probably 30 to 40 minutes. So I feel pretty good about taking it off, that glue's going to be pretty well set. And so this guy, similar to the other one we saw, I've got sapele, cherry, and then the mahogany with the cherry kind of in the middle to tie those two together a little bit. Get those little ends off, and he does have the regular antenna. Almost said antlers again. We may have some deer files coming out soon. I've got antlers on the brain. All right, and I'm happy with how he turned out. I'm super excited to get these guys sanded and sprayed down. Oh, I didn't think about that when we're spraying them. We may want to tape these off when you're spraying your pieces. Probably would be a good idea, just so that they don't get gooped up with poly. So I think I'm looking at everything I had set here. I guess I was going to show how I just use these needle nose pliers, and I'm just grabbing that end and scooting down and just turning it a little bit. And that's how I'm getting to that shape. And then if I need to, I can kind of pull it backwards a little. So it's going to stand. It's not going to go straight out to the side. It'll kind of stand up a little bit. But that's not hard to do if you have, and everybody has some kind of pliers in their house, don't they? Even if they're not specific jewelry pliers. I don't think that would be too hard to do. Don't invest in a bunch of stuff if that's not something you're doing anyway. All right, guys. I think that's all I have for you today, and I hope you enjoyed this. Again, I will try to link some things to Amazon for these type of little stick pins that you could use. Like I said, I know I saw these. I'll see if I can find any other really decorative ones that would look nice. And let me know if you have any questions. And again, I have a group on Facebook, Laser Love with Sabon Designs. If you've come across this video and you're not part of the group, we would love to have you. And so far it's been super helpful. I just started it a couple months ago, almost 3 months ago, and it's been going really well and lots of new members, and I'm super excited about that. So thank you, everybody.